Welcome to 9/11. In this video, I'll demonstrate how to install and use a new privacy-focused cross-chain DEX that allows you to safely trade cryptocurrencies without third parties. I feel like this is a revolutionary tool because it makes it easy to trade your favorite coins, especially privacy coins, which is what this DEX is focused on, without going to a centralized exchange. Centralized exchanges are problematic for many reasons, as we've all seen with the implosion of FTX, not to mention BlockFi and Celsius and others, and probably more that will be coming. But they're even more problematic for privacy coins, where the risk of being delisted is ever present. So in this brief video, I'm going to talk a little bit about this tool, which is called BasicSwap, which is developed by the folks at Particle. And I'm going to talk about how to set up a BasicSwap server and configure it, and then go through an example of how you would actually use this DEX, this local DEX, once you have it set up on your local area network, to swap Monero for PIVX as an example. There are many different coins, mostly privacy coins, but also Bitcoin and many others coming that the DEX supports. But I'm going to give this example with two well-established privacy coins. So okay, a little bit about what is BasicSwap and why I'm fairly excited about it. So essentially, BasicSwap is a cross-chain DEX. So it's used to swap cryptocurrencies between different blockchains without the use of middlemen, wrapped assets, intermediary chains, or any real risk of a single point of failure. You can kind of think of BasicSwap as a cross-chain version of a DEX, a decentralized exchange like Uniswap. The main difference is that something like Uniswap is usually focusing on exchanging tokens on the same blockchain, let's say ERC20 tokens, whereas BasicSwap is exchanging coins on different blockchains. That means you can use BasicSwap, for instance, to exchange Bitcoin for PIVX or Bitcoin for Monero. And you can do this while incurring no trading fees at all. The only fees that you pay are the applicable blockchain fees for the coins you're swapping. There's no middlemen, no central liquidity pool, only genuine peer-to-peer trades. No KYC, so trades are anonymous, largely using atomic swaps. And BasicSwap has a special focus on privacy coins, which have traditionally been difficult to exchange. Okay, so now let's go through how to go about downloading and installing the DEX onto a server. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly to go through kind of broad brush how to do it. For a deeper dive, I encourage you to check out the guide using the BasicSwap DEX with PIVX published by Yanishar. I'll put a link to that guide in the show notes. Much of this largely follows that document. So the URL to get to the BasicSwap DEX is basicswapdex.com. You want to click on the GitHub button in the upper right. What we're going to do here is I'm going to assume that we have Git and Docker already installed. Those are prerequisites for running this. And you probably are noticing that I'm running off of an OS X box, but I'm actually logged into a Ubuntu Linux server. So I'm going to be doing this through Linux. First step that we're going to do is download the GitHub repo. So we'll just copy that line. Do that. Very simple. Next, you're going to want to make sure that that Docker is installed. You can do that just by typing docker -v. Again, I'm assuming that the process of installing Docker is something that you can do. There are instructions here. There's also instructions on the Docker site. There's an important variable called coin data path that needs to be set. We're going to go ahead and do that. You can see this export coin data path. I actually can do all three of these together. What you're going to do, just to go through it, is you're going to define this variable. It's recommending you use var data coin swaps, which we'll do. it's saying cd into the BasicSwap/docker folder, which is actually built once you've pulled down the repository, and then it's going to go ahead and build that with the Docker Compose build. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so once that's done, you're going to want to, if you want to use Monero, which we do for the example I talked about, you're going to want to get the blockchain height, the current blockchain height of Monero, and you can use this command right here. And you're going to define a variable current XMR height. That's kind of going to be set as part of this command. We'll do that. All right, that's set. And now the next thing you're going to want to do is set the configuration. We've already set the coin data path. There is a file that is called, it's a .env file that actually has some of these parameters in there. When you launch, it looks at it. If you do an ls-al, you'll see a .env in the BasicSwap Docker folder. So if I take a look at that, just to show you, you can see it actually has the coin data path here. So you can set it in here if you want. You can also set the time zone. And then this is for the, if you're going to be using this in loopback mode or you're going to be using it from, external. This is setting it to loopback right now. We'll just leave it like that for now. And for the next command, the instructions kind of describe what you want to do here. What I'm going to go ahead and do is just cut and paste the line, and we can go through some of the broad brush. And I will put links to, again, the documentation kind of shows you what to do here, and I can put a link to this line in the show notes. But what we're setting up is a wallet that has PIVX and Monero configured. So it says with coins equals Monero PIVX. You can kind of see that right there. It's redefining that var data coin swaps. Probably don't need to do that. And then it's doing a Docker run with this. So that's going to be the next step that we're going to want to do. I'll just go ahead and do this. Okay, so once that's all done, you're going to see it's very noisy and it takes a little bit of time, and you're going to see some of these RPC errors where it actually there's a little bit of a race condition. It retries until it gets the wallets to initialize. At the end, it's going to dump a recovery phrase, and you're going to want to make sure to record your recovery phrase for your wallet. This is just an example that I'm setting up for the video, so I'm not going to record this, but you can kind of see that's what you're going to want to do. And generally, there's going to be this one recovery phrase for all of your wallets. It's the particle, the BasicSwap recovery phrase. Okay, so now that that's done, there's a couple of commands left to just get something up and running. And you can see it here. Okay, so you set your environment variable, and then you just type docker compose up. After the docker compose up command is launched, you should be able to then, through loopback, access your BasicSwap server with 3 wallets: the default particle wallet, the Monero wallet, and the PIVX wallet. Before looking at the BasicSwap interface, let's go and configure the server to not be in loopback, so that we can actually access this server from another computer on the same local area network. I'm going to just show you that .env file again. And you can change the IP addresses here to the IP address of the server that you're running your local BasicSwap on, and it should then be listening for commands. So after you have finished that step, it's going to take a little while for the blockchains to download and sync. You're downloading, in our case, the PIVX blockchain and a Monero blockchain, and that's going to take a little bit of time, and the particle blockchain. So you're going to have three. I'm going to show you what it looks like now when that's all synced and up and running, and I'm going to show it through a local server that I have BasicSwap running on. So I've gone in through the same procedure that I just showed you, set up the IP address properly, and now I can access it through my Mac here. So let me go and do that. Okay, so my local server has a local address of 192.168.1.61, and then BasicSwap runs on port, you can change this, but by default it runs on port 12,700. So again, from my Mac to the local server running a Linux instantiation of BasicSwap with 3 wallets, and there you go. Comes up with this page, and I can go in to wallets here. And you can see I have 3 wallets, a Particle wallet, Monero wallet, and PIVX wallet. And I let this download and sync for a while, so the blockchains are all at 100%. For expediency, I went ahead and pre-swapped some Monero for Particle. When converting to PIVX, you still have to go through Particle right now. So there is no centralized intermediary. However, you do need 2 swaps in certain instances. And in the case of going from Monero to PIVX, you first need to swap to Particle, and then from Particle to PIVX. The swap processes are all pretty much identical, and the first step is to swap Monero to Particle. So I just went ahead and did that to make it a little bit easier. And now we're going to go ahead and say, okay, I want some PIVX for the Particle. And in order to do that, you're going to click up here and select Place New Offer. And the first 2 lines, select Network and select Address, can stay as the defaults. Go to You Send Particle, and you get PIVX. And then you sort of have to establish the rate and how much you're going to get. Now they have right here a little Check Current Rates button. If you go down here, it kind of gives you the latest USD and Bitcoin for Particle and for PIVX, and you go all the way down to the bottom here. It has an inferred rate, and this is basically the amount of PIVX per part that currently is the trading value. So if I just go ahead and say 4.698, I can even take this whole thing here and say, okay, I want to send 1 particle and receive 4.698235 PIVX. And I go continue. Okay. Next, we can specify an offer validity time, how long the offer is out for, and a contract locked time, which is the time for the atomic swap. After that time, the funds are returned if the atomic swap doesn't go through. And then for the strategy, we can do accept all, which just says as soon as the bid is made that satisfies your requirement, the offer is accepted. I'll just say continue here. And confirm offer. Okay, so we've sent this out. I go back to the wallets. We still have a 0 for PIVX, 0.2 Monero, 4.7 Particle, but you have an offer. You can see here there's one offer, and there it is right there. So let's wait a little while and see if this offer gets executed, and then we'll continue. Okay, so some time has gone by. I actually went and did some stuff for about an hour or so. I don't know exactly when this came through, but I did a refresh on the wallets, and lo and behold, the PIVX wallet is no longer empty. It has a balance of 46987, 4955, and you see that the particle went down. You can go up here and see bids received. And there you go, complete redeemed. And that's basically it. we've successfully swapped some Monero for PIVX, and it was all done within a local area network. So all with your own keys, no reliance on any centralized exchanges, and the lowest fees you could ever imagine for swapping two different coins. This is still, it's in beta, it will be for a while, and the team at Particle is working very hard on this, adding new coins all the time. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out, leave a comment, and thank you for watching.